Well, I would just like to start this episode, if I can just jump right in.
Please.
If I can just take over.
Do it up.
I'd like to jump right in and just say a big shout out to Walmart. Not the sponsor of this episode, and also a company that doesn't carry the appropriate audio cables for running a podcast. They don't have TRRS cables, which is, I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail about it, but basically, it's an unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It is not an acceptable oversight. It's bullshit.
Yep.
Screw you, Walmart. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid that they had like the wrong, in the section where they should have it, which is next to the phones. They had like home, like wireless phones.
Mm-hmm.
They should have the cables that should be there, if any cable, is a TRRS, and even like a 2.5 mil instead of the 3.5 mil. But they still just had regular 3.5 mil auxiliary cords. And 99% of people are sitting there right now going, I don't know what that means. And like one or two people are friggin' just fuming. They're like, what the hell, Walmart? And you know what? I agree. Listen. Are you listening?
No, I wasn't listening this whole time. But I will start now.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay. So like a week ago,
Yes.
we did a podcast episode. Surprise, surprise. But we did it about naturism. It was a naturist episode, which we've done several in the past.
Yeah.
I'd
specifically say a naturism film because we didn't discuss naturism.
Okay, yeah.
I just don't. Just with.
I mean, we spend a lot of time discussing naturism.
We did.
In it, I feel like
we did. The only reason I'm not wanting to cross paths is we weren't sure if the film we reviewed was truly reflective of all naturism. So I don't want to.
We spent a lot of time defending naturism against this film.
Yeah.
I feel like is more accurate.
Yeah.
Anyways, and we have a naturist friend. We have a friend who I would say certainly spends more than half of his time not promoting any clothing brands, that's for sure. But no, walking around in the buff. And he recommended this film to us, and so we reviewed it. And he listened. He listened to the episode.
Nice.
He gave us some feedback.
Okay. Feedback is always good.
Feedback that I haven't relayed to you yet.
No, I'm just finding this is all new to me.
And so he has his own podcast.
Yes.
But he's also a microphone junkie. Like he's got an addiction.
Ooh,
right? You know how like some people
yeah.
See a teacup that they don't have and they must own that teacup. Like they go to flea markets.
Sure.
And if there's a teacup, they have to get the teacup.
Right.
I wish I was that way with like Funko Pop vinyl figure, but there's just like several thousand. Like that's impractical. I couldn't do that. But I am that way kind of with like Tim Burton-y ones.
Oh.
Anyways, he decided that in order to properly convey, because we're assholes and we didn't have him on the show, he was like, well, I'll just record.
For the record, we didn't have him on the show for this episode, but he has been on the show in the past.
It's true. And so he recorded his feedback.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
Listening to his recorded feedback just reaffirms for me that we got to get him back on the show, just because, I mean, the man's voice it's like French, what's like a liquid? I was going to say like French honey, but I don't know. Like the French aren't particularly known for their honey. French wine. It's like French wine.
French wine or more applicable to Les Textiles, French croissants or baguettes.
Yeah, like the butter. It's like the butter that you would use to butter up a French baguette.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, so here's Stefan's comments on our episode 129, Les Textiles.
Hey guys, it's Stefan. I really enjoyed your latest episode on Le Textile, which of course I did because I suggested the film, but I liked your discussion. And I thought that I should respond to some of the things you were theorizing about. Yes, of course I picked it because I thought it was going to have something to talk about. It's going to be something interesting. It's not because it's a great movie. In fact, I'm sorry I didn't warn you, but I wanted you to have the same reaction that I did. See, when I first heard about this movie many years ago in France, I thought, oh my, a French movie about naturism. Now, this is going to be good. Mainstream release, theatrical release. It may not be the most popular one, but France is the center of naturism in the world. Never mind Europe. Everybody vacations there. 3.5 million people every year. I thought, wow, they get it. There's a department of the government of tourism in France that promotes naturist tourism. That's how big it is. So when I watched the movie, and it was a challenge for me to get the DVD because it's not a popular movie. I had to get it from, it's the Chinese version. The cover of the DVD is all in Chinese, and it's available with Chinese subtitles, but also with English subtitles, which is what I needed. And well, I didn't even need that. I watched it in French, obviously, but my wife doesn't speak French, and a lot of my friends, like yourselves, don't speak French that well. So the subtitles in English was useful. And yes, I watched it, and it had a great potential. Yes, it's the old trope. You're absolutely right, Brady. They're always, oh my gosh, where are we? It's the middle of the night. Our car's broken down. Let's just sleep here in this little campground. It's very common. I've read books, I've seen movies. It's just typical. But still, it was a well-made movie, and it was starting out interestingly. Questions about their relationship. Maybe naturism was going to fix it. I don't know. But yeah, when it broke and when they went there, I went, really? And I wanted you to experience that too. The kind of disappointment without warning, which I didn't have either, because you knew what to expect. And I wouldn't have given you this movie first for that reason. You knew what naturism was supposed to be about from what I've told you. And so, yes, this is a bit shocking. And why? Why did they do it? I don't know. Now, to be fair, there are people, especially in 2004 with CAPDAG, there was a whole bunch of people who were into the free sexuality, the swingers, who were arguing that this was modern naturism. And, we can't prevent people from calling themselves naturists. And they are, when you have a big orgy, you tend to be naked. So I guess you're kind of a nudist in their mind. But again, naturism, as I've said many times, is not about being nude. The nudity is about accepting yourself, and it's about desexualizing nudity, and it's about getting away from the objectification. And that's the difference. I think when you're into swinging or other forms of free sexuality, and all the power to you if that's what you're into. I'm not judging. But in naturism, it's about getting away from that, because the other way you want to be, it is about judging. It's about evaluating. It's about shopping to a certain extent for the merchandise that you might be going for. So, there are people who would argue that that was naturism, and to some people, because that's what they call it, it was. And what they call naturism at CAPDAG is pretty much what you saw. And it's wrong because it's a misappropriation of the term, but we can't control it. I have no problem. Why don't they just call themselves swingers or libertines? That's what they are. Why do they need to appropriate our term and co-opt it for their purposes when there's a whole bunch of us who say, no, it's a different thing, naturism. The two are not the same at all. They are incompatible. You can't combine them together. You can do both, but you can't combine them together. So overall, is it a brilliant film? Well, I kind of agree with your rating. It's not a very good film. But it was interesting because it's mainstream. Now, fortunately, it's not very mainstream. You might be interested. I looked up in IMDb. I don't know how they calculate this, but according to IMDb, Le Textile had a box office gross of $266,000 $1,000, which is minuscule. I know France is a smaller market. This was obviously a French film, but there are French films like one which the English title is called Precinct 36. It's a French film about police, French film. And that one, in about the same time frame, earned over $14 million in box office. So clearly, even by French measurements, 266 is pathetic. I'm sure it cost them a lot more to produce, and I'm glad it never went anywhere, and that it's not popular. But it is interesting because it does show you how some people view it. And I suspect they did it for that reason as well, because sex sells. Everybody knows sex sells. And they probably thought it was safer than a movie where people were just happy and not jumping each other and not getting upset at each other. I guess that does make up boring movies in some ways, but there are ways of doing this. There's happy movies out there. So it could have been done, and we certainly saw it in Act Naturally, how you can build a good story around it. And I'm sorry that that's not a mainstream film because we can't call it that because it never got the proper theatrical release. But Le Textile did, albeit just in France. Oh yeah, and one more thing about the end. I am not defending this movie. It's a bad movie. But just because you don't understand the ending doesn't mean it's bad, right? I mean, it is a tool leaving you to wonder. Remember 2001, Space Odyssey? Do you really know what that ending means? I'll let you guys talk about that part.
Okay, so two things right off the bat.
Sure.
Number one, the fact that he called us his friends makes me a little teary-eyed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You spend your whole life wondering if we
reached someone.
If you really make an impact, if you're really getting through to someone. And two, okay, look, with the ending, you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I have not.
Okay, you're useless to me then. But
have you?
I mean, yeah. So there's okay. Of course I have.
Sure.
Of course. Listen, there's a lot of films with ambiguous endings. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm. But I feel like a prerequisite for having a film with an ambiguous ending is that you need to be able to walk away from that and go, well, did it mean this or did it mean this?
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas with Le Textile, it wasn't even like we'd picked up a scent. It was just like the film ended and it was, I don't know where to begin trying to interpret what just happened. Mm-hmm. It's not it's not like, where the Matrix ends, the third Matrix movie ends, and you're like, oh, wow, like it could mean this or it could mean this. It's kind of up for interpretation. Mm-hmm. Whereas the ending of this ends and it's just like, there's nothing. There's nothing to go on. It's just friggin' random ass BS.
What I'll add on to that is, first starting with Stefan, always fascinating to hear from him. He's always on point, always gripping. Yeah, I would agree. I will concede to Stefan that yes, although it was ambiguous, doesn't mean it was bad. And that's definitely not why, and he knows this, but that's definitely not why we ripped on it or why we gave it such a low score. And no. I would mirror everything you're saying. I don't mind an ambiguous ending if it's in line with the rest of the film, if it's in the same tone, where you're right, it's leading up to some type of ending where it fits and it's mixed all the ingredients together to kind of have a powerful ambiguous ending. With this film, there were so many different kind of paths it was trying to take. Like, I didn't understand which path it was going down. It just seemed to change direction at every turn, to which point then the ambiguous ending was a question to me of, is this on purpose or was just this random? Was it just another direction that the film was taking? And how do you interpret meaning without knowing intent? And yeah, I would agree. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
Yeah, it wasn't bad because it was ambiguous. Mm-hmm. It was ambiguous and it was bad.
Yeah, thank you.
right? They were both present and independent of each other.
Mutually exclusive is the
Mutually
kids,
exclusive.
kids would say.
Listen, anyways, Latex Steel is not the reason why we're here. If you're interested in that, you should go listen to that episode. It's a really good episode. Like I think, like I said to you, I think it's one of our best episodes.
You know, I was listening to it like just for audio quality at different points, and the audio quality is great. The discussion points are great. The things that I laughed at when we recorded, I also just laughed at when I was listening to it because I'm going, wow, that part of the film was bad, or you said something ridiculous that I just found funny. Yeah, it was an interesting, you know what, Stefan always has a point and a purpose when we've discussed with him on the show about previous things, and he was on point with this. He gave us a discussion point, which was this film was not a good film, but it gave us a really good platform to say this is a bad film because of this, and I'm confused because of that. So he
Absolutely.
mission accomplished on his part.
All right. So the reason we are here
Yes.
is because once upon a time, it was the year 2002.
Right.
And it was the darkest year in record for Robin Williams films.
Well, yeah.
Well, because Insomnia was one of our vote options as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. That was in the same year. So, yeah. Yep.
Like 50-50 chance we were getting
A dark-
Robin Williams and we were getting creepy ass Robin Williams.
Right. Right.
Listen, 1 hour photo. We posted the options. You guys voted, and you voted for 1 hour photo. You also voted pretty strongly for Minority Report. It was kind of a photo finish.
Very much. Yes.
So I can't say much, except for if you were a little bit butthurt about Minority Report not winning, just, you know, maybe put some cooling cream on it for like about 2 weeks, and then you'll be fine.
Actually, Brady, could I kind of jump the gun here? And I'm going to...
Okay.
I'm just...
Yeah.
I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit because you kind of teased what's going to come, but I'm just going to bluntly say it. We, like you said, it was a photo finish, and it was obviously quite a popular second choice, like it was in the distant second. So you and I were saying, wow, there was interest for both. What should we just review both? And we said, how do we decide? Should we do this? Should we do that? What we did was we let our Patreon voters or our Patreon members vote exclusively. Should we review Minority Report or should we just forget it? And stay tuned, folks. I won't give any more beyond that, but
Man,
our Patreon voters made the decision for us.
every single week, I tell myself, maybe I should become a Patreon voter. And I never do. And I always regret it. And that's
your loss.
That's all there is to that.
That's your own loss right there. But yeah, 2002, what we are here today to talk about is 1 hour photo, which did win.
Yes, with the ever friendly, ever happy family movie guy, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
The late, great
Yes, absolutely.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, very much so.
Had you seen this film before?
No, I remember. I vaguely remember trailers of it when it was out, but
Okay.
I'd never seen it. I think possibly Marshall or possibly you made reference to it briefly in our top 10 actors episode.
I mention it.
You
I
did.
mention it in the top 10.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's shall we get into it with some trivia?
Sure.
Okay. One little tidbit, I found this interesting. There was a dialogue section or a monologue where Robin Williams and his character said, any nitwit thinks they can produce photos by taking a 2-day seminar. No, it's an art. It's a mastering of an art, and I'm a passionate. I'm motivated to do this. Interestingly enough, for this role, ironically or coincidentally, Robin Williams did take a 2.5-day course to develop photos in a lab just to kind of prepare for the part.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, one question this week. One. I want to ask you, who was first approached to play the lead character? So the character that was obviously eventually Robin Williams. Who was first approached to play this character and reportedly turned down the role because he thought the character was too dark and that dark kind of role was too similar to a previous role he had been in?
Sean Connery. It's the early 2000s, so he's in the business of turning films down.
Dang it! I wish he was an option, but he's not. I failed you. So the first is Jack Nicholson, just because, and I'll give an example of the film for each one. So Jack Nicholson, he was in in the role of the Joker, quite recently. I guess maybe it would have been 10 plus years, but in Tim
it would have been
Burton's
11 years.
Yeah. So Jack Nicholson is an option. Christian Bale is an option with American Psycho. Edward Norton is an option with his role in Fight Club. And the last option, Robert De Niro in his role in Taxi Driver.
Okay. I don't think it's Nicholson.
Sure.
So the actor that you're talking about, when they said that it was too similar to a role they'd just recently been in, did they specify which role it was?
They did.
Okay, so I don't think it's Nicholson, because I think Batman's too. I think you stumbled on that. That was a little weak.
Okay. Okay.
Christian Bale, maybe.
Sure.
What were the other ones?
So Nicholson, which is you said no. Christian Bale, you said maybe. Edward Norton, Fight Club, and Robert De Niro, Taxi Driver.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't think it's Edward Norton, because I feel like you don't go, "Ugh, we couldn't get Edward Norton. We'll have to settle for Robin Williams."
Fair enough. I like Edward Norton, but I completely see what you're saying.
Right. And I was leaning towards Christian Bale, but I feel like, again, like early 2000s, I still feel like you don't say that either. I feel like I feel like if Robin Williams is where they settled, then we started out in that league. And I feel like aside from Jack Nicholson, the only person, who I don't think it is because I think it was a weak option, the only person I can think of out of those four who's in that league is De Niro.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with De Niro. I think
Sure.
my gut is telling me Christian Bale.
Sure.
But I'm saying De Niro because of a technicality that I think disqualifies Christian Bale from,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm going to say De Niro.
Cool. That's a valid guess. I always find your deductive reasoning a fascinating component of these questions. It was actually Jack Nicholson. So apparently in the DVD commentary, the director said that Jack Nicholson was first approached to play the character, but he turned down the role because he thought the character was too similar to a role he played in the past, specifically The Shining.
Oh, okay.
Weird. I put the Joker in there just as a bit of a red herring because I'm like,
yeah.
I think
so that's,
because we just reviewed.
That's weird because The Shining is even further back.
Well, that's the thing. Like The Shining is, forgive me for those purists out there who love this film. I think it's in the 70s, maybe the 80s, but it's definitely older than Batman.
I think it's the 80s.
I think early 80s.
It's early 80s.
Maybe like 1980.
I think it's 81.
Yeah. But regardless.
I don't know why.
But, that's really specific.
Yeah, I don't know why I think that's what it is. It's probably way wrong.
1980.
Yeah, okay.
1980.
Cool.
You were close.
Okay.
So yeah, that is the trivia.
Well, I will self-inflict the lashings later for answering incorrectly. I don't know why we came up with that.
With what?
I don't know why you came up with it, and I don't know why I agreed. But
I did not.
I am nothing if not a team player.
I did no such thing.
We watched. Okay, again, if we're in the business of pulling back the curtain, we were trying to come up with like, because you see these shows like Kenny versus Spenny or like these competition type trivia, you know, and there's like a humiliation. There's something that if you get something wrong or you lose, then there's a punishment. There's something you have to, you know, there's the thing that happens that isn't good. You don't want that. And Pete had just finished watching, like 20 minutes before we sat down and we had this conversation. Pete had just finished watching Da Vinci Code, and he was like fixating on Paul Bettany's albino character who like takes the Christ whip and like whips himself in the back. And I was like, you know,
what are you
it's not something that it's not something I've ever wanted to do. But if you think it's what's best for the show, and he almost like interrupted me and was like, I definitely do. I think that if we want listeners and if we want to come across as sincere in our attempts to do trivia, then self-lashing, self-mutilation is the way to go. And I said, okay.
No.
And that was like a year and a half ago. And my doctor's not happy about it, but
your doctor's not happy about a lot of things.
But my doctor also doesn't have a podcast, so he doesn't like this is, you know, it's a world that he's not a part of, and so I don't blame him for not understanding.
I got embarrassingly far into that story before I realized it was bullcrap. I was like, "What story are you talking?" Oh,
you're like I don't remember this, but
I got to like
the details are so solid that it must like.
I was like, we've never watched the Da Vinci Code. Oh, I see. Oh, I see what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
This is a film right off the bat. This is a film that is obviously dated and hasn't aged well as far as this guy's profession. So listen, kiddies. There used to be a time where, and there's obviously, this isn't, you know, I'm not going like way back. I'm not talking about like in the beginnings of camera technology. Like I get that even, you know, the fact that this is the oldest camera technology that I really remember dates me as relatively young.
Yes.
In the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. But there was a time when mommy and daddy would take photos of, you know, you doing whatever it is you did as a kid, they would have to like go and pay to have this film developed. Yeah. Do you remember like the big, like obviously you remember that, right? You remember whether it was Walmart or the grocery store or wherever had a photo lab. You remember that? You remember going to the store with your parents and like before they did their shopping, they would drop off their film?
I remember like this film was a walk down memory lane. I specifically went, I think the brand was a Kodak store. So it was a specific photo store in a mall. And yeah,
wow.
I remember like going in, you drop it off. It wasn't like a 1 hour drop off, or at least we were too cheap to do that. It was more like we'll drop it off, we'll pick it up next week. But
shiznak.
This honestly like was a walk down memory lane. Every corner, like just the film development, even like the euphoria of like when the family would come home and break open the packet of photos and look at them and see how they all turned out and remember, oh yeah, I forgot I took this. Kind of the equivalent to nowadays when you look at your camera roll and you either see, you know, pictures you took last month and your phone reminds you of it, or, you know, on Facebook reminding you that you posted a picture a year ago. That's the modern day equivalent to this coming home with the packet of photos and seeing how they turned out and seeing how red eyes and how blurry everything was that you thought was a, you know, UFO photo that really was just like a complete black picture. And
well, those are the people who took the 2.5 day seminar.
Right? Yeah.
Right. They're just producing your photos bad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you gave specific details as to how this film was like a walk down memory lane. Because there's a bunch, like, I would say the majority of stuff that happens in this film, if that was a walk down memory lane for you, I would be sitting you down and saying, like, do we need to get someone for you just to talk to? Like, Do you have some stuff that you need to work out? 'Cause
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit here that I hope is not reminiscent for you.
Yeah, and I
I hope
remember
you're not like, you're just like every turn, man. Every part of this film just like
this
took
guy.
me back.
This guy also had pictures of families on his wall that weren't his own. I was just getting childhood reverb here of just.
Yeah, you're thinking like as a kid, I never understood the purpose of that wall,
Yeah.
but my parents said don't touch it, and
Yeah.
and so I didn't.
You're right. I should clarify. The going to the photo store gave heavy childhood nostalgic vibes. Or like when Robin Williams walked down the aisle and there were all those like boombox speakers that looked like at the time they were amazing as heck, and now they're the crap that you see at a land refuse or a land dump. Yeah.
You know the two things that were I echo all of that. But then the two more things that were a flashback for me. One specific to film and pictures was the little film snippets. I always found those so fascinating. I wanted to take them out of the little plastic sleeve
Yep.
and hold it up to the window so that I could see that. Which I don't know. That was probably really bad for the film or something. Like I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then the other was action figures that came in plastic packaging with a cardboard backing on.
Yep. Preach.
That was
Yep. Yep.
And the great thing about action figures back in the day, what like late 90s, early 2000s, is it was kind of like one company, or like all the companies shared one mold. And so like if you had a Batmobile, your Superman would fit in it perfectly. Your Spider-Man would fit in it perfectly.
Sure.
And your Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park would fit in it perfectly.
Right.
And so that was cool. They all had like the same, one fist was clenched and the other was like open, and like and all action figures just kind of had the same build, the same mold to them. So
Right.
anyways, that was a flashback as well.
That's cool.
that I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've sat down and watched the film in its entirety.
Sure.
I think I saw it not right when it came. I saw it on TV once. It was like on TV, which is another outdated technology. Let me tell you, children. There used to be a time. No. So I mean, whenever you see a movie on TV, unless you've like seen advertisements for it all day, and you're like, oh shit, son, at 7:00 tonight, it's you, me, a bowl of popcorn, and Joe Dirt on Channel 7. Like, you never see the whole film. You catch, like, you show up, you're like channel surfing, and you're like, holy crap, it's Titanic, and I missed the drawing scene. Damn it. But I mean, you miss stuff anyways because they like cut stuff out to make it shorter, so that like so that it will fit on TV in this like happy little hunky dory slot. Because there was a couple movies that I'd only ever seen on TV, and then saw like a DVD of many years later, and I was like, "What the hell is all of this?
Yeah.
Is this like a director's cut? Like, what is going on?"
Preach. I absolutely know what you're talking about. Where you just find this nugget of a scene. You're like, wow. What? What? This? What?
And then he kills his own father?
Yeah.
Wow. Free Willy 3 is way darker than I thought it was,
Yeah. They call him a killer whale for a reason.
Yeah. But I saw a chunk of this film, and I saw it way too young to be watching a film like this.
Sure.
Way, 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 way too young. Like, I think I was flipping through and I was like, oh, cool, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And boy, did I learn stuff that day. But the only thing that I remember, the only nugget in my brain that made me like that, that I had any nostalgia with this movie and traumatized me, made me never watch this movie since, was the eye squirting blood from his eye dream sequence that he has.
Yeah, that's missed.
And that's it. That was the image that I had, was a Robin Williams that had dyed his hair, looked like he was playing Rolf in a stage production of Sound of Music,
Maybe he was.
and had to dye his hair. And, but yeah, so it was super traumatizing for me. So I've never come back to this film until we were selecting options for 2002. And I was like, you know what? And I didn't think it would win. I was really shocked that it won. I thought it was probably the least likely option. I didn't really know about Insomnia. I watched the trailer for it.
Yeah.
I thought Minority Report probably had it pretty much bagged. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on this movie? It's upsetting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I have some cool theories as to things that they did artistically to make it upsetting.
Interesting. My thoughts are definitely a fascinating view. I had never seen it. I'm glad I did. I think there are some cliches in it, and it might be easy to jump on the bandwagon and critique it for those cliches. But to a degree, I think those were done well in some cases. I mean, there was the cliche, the dad is a douchebag, where, hey, I'm in an argument. Let me yell at you because I work so hard and I buy you all these things. Look at this house. Look at this Mercedes-Benz. That's why I don't spend time with you. So there was like the cliche, dad's a jerk. And, some things were cliche. But then there was the cliche that there was this kind of inappropriate individual who's definitely crossed the line of what's appropriate. But at times, at least with me, there were like, I'm not supporting or condoning what he did, but knowing his motivations weren't always sinister. There were times where you kind of flipped the script a bit on his cliche, where you were going, well, his motivations are he just wants to be part of this family. Like he just wants the connection and the relationship with these people.
Obviously he's sick.
Very much. And he crosses the line, like I said, but in saying that he's sick, I would argue that, it doesn't excuse the behavior. It doesn't make the behavior okay. But I think that very often people who are sick and do sick things, they are a victim of their sickness. Oh, for sure.
Right? And which is why often, like it's very possible, at least in the Canadian judicial system, that he would not be going to prison, he'd be going to a psychiatric hospital. Like he would be getting psychiatric help. Right? He wouldn't be able to walk free. He'd be locked up, but not simply in a prison.
Right. Yeah.
Right, because he's not just a guy that did bad things. He's not all there.
Yes. And I think that's kind of an interesting part of his cliche, because it's not just labeling him into a corner that he is this. We get a bit of perspective from his vantage point of why he's doing some of these things, and you get a bit of empathy for him, knowing that he does need some help, or that there's reasons he's doing what he's doing, not to justify them, not to condone them, but it's a bit, it breathes a little depth on what is otherwise kind of a cliche of just what could have been his character. So I thought that was interesting with this film.
Can I ask you a question based off you're talking about his motivations?
Yeah.
Take away all the other creepy stuff, right?
Sure.
So put yourself in his job role,
Sure.
not his. You're your normal Pete, as normal as that is.
Yeah.
And you happen to work in this photo lab, and you come across the discovery that he comes across, where let's say there's this wife and kid, and you're not obsessed with them, you're not stalking them, you're not trying to move into their house. They're like, they're just there all the time. They're there every Tuesday or whatever it is. And so you get to know them, right? And you see all of their, weirdly, is something I've never really thought about, but you see all of their photos. Because, and so you just like, they're your favorite. Like I've worked retail jobs, and there's always customers who I'm excited to see. They're like my favorite customers to like strike up a quick conversation as I'm ringing their stuff through, or as I'm taking their order, or whatever. So let's say there's that, and then the husband comes in to develop film, and you become privy to the fact that he's having an affair.
Mm-hmm.
Would you in that situation do what he did? Not like tail them and stuff.
Yeah,
but like how
would I follow them to their house? Yeah.
Yeah, but how tempted do you think you would be to slip one of those photos into her envelope?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
justice. Because I'll tell you, I watched it and I'm like, it's not the right protocol, because I feel like there's almost like this patient doctor confidentiality thing when it comes to having your photos developed. Like if someone's really into feet and being tied up, then you kind of need to be able to have those pictures developed without, without your photo tech going, oh, well, Mr. Johnson, I would use a B grade rope instead of the rope you have been using, and that will, unless someone's like breaking the law or someone's in trouble or whatever, like the same rules as like counseling with therapists. I know that's probably what you're supposed to do. You're probably just supposed to be like, I can't intervene. But you know what? So that it would make me a bad photo tech, because I feel like, I don't know if I would like have the guts to do it, but man, would I feel convicted to do what he did.
Sure.
He did that, and I'm not like, oh, you sleazy bastard. I'm like, yeah. Good on ya. So what would you do? Like, where's your headspace around that?
For sure. I think you raise an interesting point, because as I was watching him throughout these actions, I wrote down on my notes, like, is what Robin Williams doing wrong? And obviously quite quickly the needle pointed to yes. Like, the more I found out what he was truly doing at certain times, like it was totally inappropriate, totally wrong.
Stuff he supplements it with, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. But there were the initial question of, without knowing the full picture, I kind of watched it step by step going, okay, like this on its own is okay. Or, like not horrible. This on its own is okay. And then, when you add the cumulative up, it's inappropriate, it's wrong, etc. But this one specific thing I did ask myself, is what he doing okay? And I don't know, I guess you'd have to break it down. Is it just? Is it appropriate? Like, how it depends how you define, is it okay? With me, I think I'm with you. I'm like, in this specific role, I don't think you have, I think there's some things where you have a bit of an honor system, and you go wink, wink, nudge, nudge the person, and you say, hey, taking pictures of teacups at Antiques Roadshow, it's kind of out there and weird, but I'm your bro, we're cool with it. And then there's things where, hey, on the spectrum, this is illegal, you shouldn't be taking pictures of pirated DVDs, I'm probably going to report you to the police. And kind of related to that, hey, you're cheating on your spouse, and you're cheating on your family to a degree. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not going to intervene any more than that. I'm just literally going to drop a photo where it shouldn't be, just to reveal the truth and kind of help someone out. So I'd be tempted to do what he did in that specific circumstance, is what I'm trying to say.
I love how your answer speaks to the difference in personality between you and me. Why? Because you use the example taking pictures of teacups at the road show, and I instantly went to feet fetishes and bondage. So I just
Yeah. I do think you raised an interesting point. It's not exclusive to this. Like, you raised the example of retail or non-retail, but there's certain roles or jobs in society that in that role, you do get a bit of an intimate knowledge of someone or some people or some groups. And it can be retail. In this example, just because we're talking about this film, like, is a photo technician, it is something kind of interesting. You would kind of have like an intimate knowledge or an intimate connection with a person at a specific time. And it's very unique because there are professional boundaries, obviously confidentiality or not taking pictures home or ordering duplicate copies to take home, like, without being silly, there's boundaries and knowing what's appropriate and whatnot. But I just think it's an interesting concept that there are these roles in society where complete strangers can know a lot about each other. And, there's healthy ways that it can manifest. Like you said in retail, hey, I'm pumped when Tom comes in because we have a special connection when I sell him teacups and we can chat about them and chat about the weather. And, I will probably never see him outside my professional role, but it's still fascinating to connect as a human being over this random thing in my capacity. I don't know, something just about this concept of being knowing and having a special connection with human beings in this role kind of just is fascinating. And I guess we saw the nightmare version of it where it goes wrong if someone kind of abuses that power. But it's just an interesting concept.
Yeah. So I have a fun piece of information that I feel like ties into that.
Please.
I discovered recently that Walmart's policy, and someone was telling me about this. This wasn't, like I'm of an age where I have never taken a roll of film to be developed. Like I think,
right.
I think as a kid, I probably had like a disposable camera developed.
Sure.
I probably was like given one for a birthday or something.
Do you know how really was it given to you by Robin Williams?
What an amazing story that would make. I wish.
Yeah, for sure.
No, so but Walmart's policy back when film development was a thing, was not only would they not develop any naked pictures, but, and I don't know, it was like in their fine print or something somewhere, they would destroy the film.
Oh, wow.
So if you hand in, I don't even know how many pictures, I don't know how many shots used to be on a roll of film. 20?
Is it 20 or 25?
Or more?
Yeah, I don't know.
30? Anyways,
yeah.
And there's a bunch like of a soccer game, and then there's, your wife in the tub or something. Not your, like, just, generic.
A generic wife.
Someone's a generic wife in a tub.
Sure.
Or a husband or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll like, it's not like they give you the soccer photos, like just, it's gone. Everything's gone. Yeah, they just destroy it. Which I think is interesting because it's like, I mean, I guess if it's in their fine print, then they can do whatever they want. But it got me thinking about like Stefan and our naturist friends. Like, yeah, I mean, what if you and your family, like, how would you do it back in the day? If you were a family and, like if you're a naturist family and you've gone to the Bahamas or you've gone to the tropics somewhere, and there's like a nude beach and you're having a naturist vacation and you've taken some naked photos, like you're naturists, right? Of course, you're taking a lot of the photos you're taking are going to be photos where people are naked. That's just the way that it is. What do you do? What do you do if it's like the mid 90s? How do you get these photos developed? Without having your own dark room. So yeah, that was something that I had never occurred to me. I was like, holy crap, there's this whole group of people out there who aren't murderers that take pictures of their victims. They're just people who happen to take a lot of naked photos for innocent reasons. And yeah, like how would these people get those pictures developed? So that's maybe something to, like, I'm sure it would be a question that would be great to ask Stefan, because I'm sure at some point back in the day, that is a problem he had to solve.
Right. Yeah.
So, I have a theory.
Please.
And it kind of ties into your trivia question. The reason why I think Robin Williams is such a brilliant casting for this. And the reason why Jack Nicholson would have been the wrong casting is because you expect Jack Nicholson to play an adult role. You expect him to be a little creepy.
Mm.
And I think that part of what makes Robin Williams so brilliant for this role is that it's jarring.
Mm. Mm.
This is the flubber guy.
Yeah.
This is Mrs. Doubtfire. This is
Yeah.
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
You know?
This-
This is the genie.
The genie. I was just going to say the genie. Yeah. Yeah.
And so to see him in this role is, you know, it's kind of like when you see a clown with a frown painted on his face. It's like it triggers something in your brain. There's a whole psychological thing about that, actually, that I don't know where. There was like this documentary or this little like mini documentary that I saw once on like the psychological effect and why we find clowns with frowns so creepy.
Oh.
Because it's not supposed to be.
Right. Right.
Right? And it's like this jarring thing to see. And I think it's the same effect to see Robin Williams in this horrifically creepy role.
Right.
Because you're trained to go, your brain is trained to go, oh, Robin Williams, this will be warm. This will be warm and fuzzy. And I think I wonder if it's the same. I think it's the same reason his hair's blonde.
Oh.
Because you look at him and you go, yeah, it's Robin Williams, but something is wrong.
Mm.
Something isn't right. It's Robin Williams, but it's not. And it is. It's weird. Like he looks weird. He's got a look to him that's like unsettling because of that blonde hair. And I think it's so effective. And I think it's because you're like, it's him, but it isn't. Right? It'd be no different than, because it's such a dramatic difference, right? It'd be no different than like, if Leonardo DiCaprio did a film tomorrow and
Right.
they turned him into a ginger. You'd be like, this is just weird.
Sure.
If they'd lightened his hair up a little bit and made him a little blonder, you'd be like, oh, I think they changed his hair. But if they were to make him a redhead
Right.
or dye his hair black, it'd be like, this is odd.
Right.
This is weird. And it's jarring and it's a little, I don't know. Right? Especially if, so tomorrow you've got Leo playing a serial killer and he's a ginger. The fact that he's a ginger would really add to that, not because all gingers are, that's not a, just because he's not currently a ginger. And it's so polar different from what he is. I think that would be really jarring.
Right.
And would add into the, yeah, that's Leo, but something's wrong. Something's not right.
I can't put my finger on it.
And so I think that really helps, really ups that creepy factor.
I
So
think what catches me off guard, and I just can't personally. I'm just finding it fascinating. You listed a bunch of roles that he was in, and then to go 1 hour photo, it's such a contrast. I'm just specifically thinking Jack, where he plays, he perfectly like knocks it out of the ballpark. Good, plays like a child and captures the innocence of a child and portraying that, and just in every facet that a grown man, acting as a child. But
hanging out with Bill Cosby as children do.
That part didn't age well. But I think like something about this film, I think what got me with his role was it was a bit of a transition. Like it was seeing him in a more serious role and then a darker role. So it was almost like I got kind of that taste to begin the film, and then it just kind of really escalated. And I think it kind of just paired well. I don't know.
Because he's uncomfortable from the get-go. Like the second you see him have interaction with anybody, you're like, ooh, he's weird.
We do have that kind of scene early on where we see him invade their house and live there, and we realize it was just a
daydream.
A daydream. What walk me through, like, what happened at the end? Because for those who've seen the film, they know this. We think he assaulted the adulterous father and the girlfriend, and then after all that happened, where he says, I just took pictures in the interrogation room, he's given the photos that he took, and we see completely vacant photos, like of just like a bed and a wall and a shower curtain, and nothing, at least for what we thought we saw, occurred in his pictures that he took. So what do you think happened?
I mean, I don't know. That end interrogation room scene, that left me with two questions, and that's one of them.
Sure.
One of them is, what? Like, what does this mean? And, okay, again, ambiguous, but not as bad as Latex Steel was. This, at least you're like, you've got something to go on.
And see, I like this ambiguous ending. I can live with this.
Yeah. So that I wasn't sure of. And then the other thing I was unsure of was he starts out and he's talking about like ways a father should never act and things a father should never do. And it seems like he's talking about the father from this family. But then he lists a couple of things that, like, you know, touch a child in a certain way, or like he starts listing some things that are almost like sexual assault type things that we never saw happen. We never saw as part of the dynamic between this father and his son. And so I was like, there was a moment where I'm like, oh, okay, hang on a second. Is he explaining what happened to him as a child? Is he telling us why he is the way he is? Because his father abused him, his father molested him, and now he's twisted and he's just longing to be a part of a family that's not really broken and messed up. And that's why he gets so upset and takes it so personally when a part of this family is dysfunctional and he feels the immediate need to remove it, because it's not until he realizes that the father is a cheating asshole that he like scratches his face out of these images. Up until this point, he just sees this family as like an idyllic family.
Right, because even in his daydream,
he wants to be a part of.
Yeah, even in his daydream, before he found out the father was cheating,
the dad's there and everything's okay.
The dad was there, and it wasn't that Robin Williams replaced the dad and the wife comes home and kisses him. And
he was a kid.
It was, there's Uncle, and I forget his name, but there's Uncle Robin Williams.
Uncle Cy.
Uncle Cy, there it is. So yeah, I think you hit a point on that. Maybe once he found out the adulterous thing, that was kind of, he wanted to fix that.
Because the cop asked him. The cop's like, what made you do this? I have to know why.
Oh, and I completely agree. The walk away I came from was, yes, he's talking about his childhood. He's talking about the unfortunate circumstances that made him,
right. Which gives him a specific sour spot towards bad fathers.
Sure. But yeah, and I think you also hit it on the head. I never thought about this part actually, but I think you hit it on the head. It wasn't till the father was cheating that he honed in on kind of extrapolating from his experiences with a broken family to fix that broken family.
And then felt the need to punish the father.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to ask one question further. So we see this all unfold, and I think we've kind of broken down part of it anyway. But not necessarily why there weren't any events that we saw in the pictures that we saw. But I also just want to know, what's this like? Then the film closes on a picture of the four of them, the two individuals, the child and Uncle Cy, with the dad's hand around
with
Uncle Cy.
The dad there, and I think that was just an abstract ending. I was like, I think that's just like, you know. Yeah, I think that's just like maybe giving you a glimpse inside of his head, or like, yeah, like, I mean, obviously that doesn't end up happening.
Yeah.
There's no reality where he's let go and they're all buddy and share some beers. Like that's,
Yeah.
um,
So I guess
yeah.
I guess we're assuming that he went to the hotel. He never actually threatened them directly. And the pan shot that we saw of the cheating girlfriend in the shower and the husband sitting on the bed when the detective came in, that was independent. That had nothing to do with anything with Robin Williams because he was never there, and they were just upset for cheating on his wife. I guess I'm assuming that's what we can.
Yeah,
say.
I don't know, right? Because they're not the ones that call.
No.
They're not the ones like the husband and the mistress. They're not the ones that call 911.
No.
We never hear them say they have no bruises, they have no scars, they've got nothing. We never hear them say that,
Mm-hmm.
we never hear them say that. The police show up, but maybe all he ever did was check into his room
I think so.
down the hall,
Yeah.
take some pictures inside of his room,
And
daydream.
yeah, I think
Daydream
I think
going
so.
and murdering, not murdering, but like holding a woman at gunpoint, which she doesn't even really, like her robe isn't that secure when she answers that door. Like she just right from the get-go, she's like, yeah, my robe's wide open. You can see me top to bottom. That's... What do you want?
In her
Like-
defense, like he kicked the door in her face, and she
Right.
went back a bit. So maybe that kind of flapped
Knocked the
things
robe
open a
open?
bit. I'm just saying,
I don't know.
possibly. I'm not. I don't know.
Seems like a bit of a jump. But,
It could be. I'm not sure.
do you have anything else?
I think that's about it. I just want to say this. Don't go digital. I'll be out of a job. There were so many lines that just kind of caught me. I'm like, yeah, it happened.
That was a great job, or a great line. And also the line, because he monologues a couple of times, and they're all great, like
Yeah.
voiceover monologues.
Mm-hmm.
And one he says is he talks about how, when you take a photo, you're freezing time.
Yes.
Even you're just freezing one moment of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that nobody ever, and it's always a happy moment, that nobody ever takes a picture of a moment that they want to forget.
Yeah.
And that was a cool line.
It was very cool. Yeah.
And I had someone the other day, I was talking to someone, and it was so brilliant, because I was like, man, you have no idea what movie I just reviewed or what's coming, but they were talking about photos.
Oh.
And they said, and it was a photo in which they were in a bad relationship, and it was a photo from that relationship, and they're like arms around each other and smiling, and everything's really happy. And I was like, oh, like this is actually a really nice picture. And they said something to the effect of, pictures capture a projection of, like, a picture that you're posing for captures a projection of the way that you want things to be.
Interesting.
Right? That when you throw your arm around someone and you smile and stuff like that, the smile is always, like, when you smile for a picture, no, you were never genuinely that happy in the picture.
Right.
You're making yourself look happier than you actually were in the situation for the picture. And that photos don't capture reality. Photos capture a happy aspect of the truth. And I was like, oh man, that's like, not only is that really deep and like got me thinking for a while, and I was like, wow. But I was like, that's so applicable to what we're doing, to what we're talking about. So I was like, that's cool. It was poetic. So scale of 0 to 10. Good
Yeah,
sir.
that's definitely a deep cut, and it's very cool that it coincided.
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it a pretty high score.
Really?
For me, I mean, I definitely do not need to see this again, and I doubt I will ever watch it again. But I gave it an 8.3 out of 10.
Wow.
And on
that's
Marshall's scale,
high.
yeah. On Marshall's scale, I gave it a 7. I could maybe be convinced to an 8, but just how his scale worked, I'd be closer to a 7. So,
Okay, all right.
no matter how you cut it, a decent score based on its filmmaking qualities. So, how about you?
I give this a 7.8. Provided this film is your cup of tea. If this film is not your cup of tea, then it's going to rank much lower. Because this movie's not for everyone by any means. This film's actually probably very triggering for some people. Like if you've experienced, like a sexual assault or something like that, this would be a very tough film to watch. So, but yeah, 7.8, provided it's the film that you're there for.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
What'd you watch this week?
I watched 2 films.
Bravo.
Actually, okay, 2 films, and I've still continued on in Twin Peaks. I'm watching it with a friend. Not quite finished yet, but I'm watching Twin Peaks. One of the films I watched was It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Ooh, that's on my short list.
2019? No, it wasn't 2020, so I guess it'd have to be 2019. 2019.
Is it good?
Quasi-biopic starring Tom Hanks. It was good. I think Tom Hanks is an incredible actor. He was in my top 3, top 10 actors of all time. He made it into the top 3, or even top 2. Regardless, I think he was born. There's certain roles I think he was born to play. One of them, I think, was Mr. Rogers. The only critique I'll give is I think the story that this film told was a story that I wasn't as interested in compared to Mr. Rogers himself. And you made me watch probably a year and a half ago an actual, like a 45-minute documentary on Mr. Rogers. And I found it really profound. I found it really informative. And I thought it was just, I nearly teared up a couple times in that short biographical documentary. And so I think I just specifically found that documentary and the story of Mr. Rogers himself more profound than I did the film A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is a good film. Everyone should check it out if they're into that type of thing and if it interests them. When I'm comparing the two side by side, I was just more interested in Mr. Rogers himself versus the story that film had to tell. But on its merit alone, it was a good film. The only other thing I watched this week was a classic film. And I'm not sure if you've seen it.
The Human Centipede.
Not even remotely. I actually got the unique opportunity. I haven't been in a movie theater for eons.
Oh, right. Holy crap. You were in a movie theater.
I was in a movie theater with
that is huge. That is like if we had a hockey podcast,
right,
and you were showing up this week to say that you had licked the Stanley Cup since we talked last. It feels very, very similar to that.
For sure. I made it to a movie theater. Our local theater has this thing where there are COVID precautions, so limited number of people, you have to wear a mask, you have to be spaced out. By spaced out, I mean like physically spaced apart, not just like not paying attention. And we watched a film, of my choosing, and we watched
your choosing?
Of my choosing.
Why? Wait, so what was this event?
It was just a group of people who hadn't seen each other for a long time because of COVID, and this was for a year, this was the first time we could do so safely according to public health guidelines, and we just watched a film, and it's a film that I'm curious if you've seen or not. It's from the 80s. It is Princess Bride.
Oh my. Yes, I have seen it.
Okay, I assumed you had.
Yeah, once.
Once,
only about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
maybe like 4 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Which I'll be honest, having seen it for the first time like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I didn't really get it.
Sure.
Like, I was like, it's fun, but but I feel like in order to feel the way that everybody else feels about The Princess Bride, I need to have grown up with it. And I didn't grow up with it. It's the same. I felt the same way that I felt about Goonies. I'm like, I just didn't grow up with this. Maybe if I did, I'd be more nostalgic and more excited about this.
I'm with you. I've never seen Goonies. I doubt I ever will. I'm too late to that train. Of note, I never grew up with Princess Bride. I would probably say I've seen it not in childhood, but more recently, kind of like you. I think just the difference is it's kind of tomatoes. There is a nostalgic factor just as far as there's some people in my life, both family and non-family, that do like that film, and as a result, we'll just randomly quote kind of off lines to each other from the film, and it's just kind of like a little, I guess it would be like a pulp culture classic in my circles. So it does definitely have a nostalgic component, but for different reasons than like the classic, hey, I grew up with this.
So I've got a couple questions. So like in this thing, you had to bring your own Blu-ray.
Yes. Yeah.
So you brought your own Blu-ray.
Yeah.
What were the restrictions? Could you bring literally any movie you wanted?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a pretty bold statement. Like I guess you could bring.
I mean, yeah, you weren't gonna show up with like softcore porn or something, but like,
yeah.
If like, was there a length restriction?
Good question. I don't know. We didn't obviously come anywhere close. I think there'd be like somewhat of a length restriction. Like, I don't know if hashtag Zack Snyder's I'm butchering
Justice
it right
League.
now. Justice League.
Justice League.
I don't think that would be on the table. I think that would be pushing the limits, but I think
Well, I'm just surprised that like, if you had the opportunity to like see Return of the King on the big screen again,
right.
Yeah,
I think it came down to there were a lot of films that I would maybe prefer watching on a big screen, but I wanted to watch something that had a bit of everything for like a huge multitude of interest levels, like people who like film, people who don't like film. And Princess Bride has like some romance scenes, some comic scenes, some action scenes. So it has like a bit of everything, that kind of a bit of everything for everyone kind of thing.
And you chose The Princess Bride over The Room.
Oh, I mean, The Room is on a short list, but I feel that can turn some people away from film permanently.
Forever.
Forever.
And final question. So like, was it a Blu-ray or a DVD?
The only copy I could acquire was a DVD, so it was a DVD.
Oh, so it's even lower than it's not even.
Yeah.
So like, how did it scale onto that screen?
I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's not like, I know the theater you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not a huge screen.
No, I think it.
But it's still a theater screen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh.
So.
And how was the audio?
I mean, I think if we had been watching something, I think it was appropriate it was okay for the type of film that I was watching.
Because that theater is always way too quiet.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah. What did you watch this week?
I think I only watched 4 movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I watched 4. And then some more of I've been watching 24, the series.
Oh, right.
So to finish off what I had started last week, I watched War for the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Which is such an interesting movie because, like, I'm sitting. The movie's nearing its end. I'd seen it before. I saw it in the theater, but the movie's nearing its end, and I'm thinking to myself, what other film could you sit and watch? What other almost 2.5 hour film could you sit and watch and spend the entirety of the film rooting for the extinction of the human race?
Honestly.
Like, genuinely wanting people to get wiped out.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, That is something so unique to this film. So that's, to me, that was spectacular. For the very first time, I sat down and watched Ridley Scott's film Alien.
Oh, I
I'd
think
never seen Alien before.
nice.
So that was fun. Really kind of a slow beginning,
Okay.
but good. But still a good movie and creepy. Like, you don't see a lot of the Alien, and it's all like practical effects, and like it's just creepy. Like, it was good. It was good. Then, because I am who I am, the next film I watched was James Cameron's sequel, Aliens.
Oh, okay. This fills in the blanks. Yeah.
And then next, because I am who I am, I watched David Fincher's Alien 3,
Oh.
which is a better film than Aliens, but not as good a film as Alien.
Okay.
So, and then the next film that I watch, well, that's not true. The next film I watch tonight, I'm going to watch a film as soon as we're done. And it's going to be the theatrical cut
Of the Room.
of Justice League.
Oh, Justice League.
So that tomorrow morning at 8:30 I can get up and start watching the
Yes.
Snyder cut.
Mm.
God, it's going to be good. Yeah, but so then really, like, you know, of non-show related movies, the next film I will likely watch will be Alien Resurrection.
Cool.
Yeah. Just going to truck along, and then the prequels, and then I'm going to do Predator. I'm going to do the Predator franchise, and then watch the AVP films, the Alien versus Predator films. I'll plug those in chronologically where they belong in that series.
Oh, neat. Have you seen the
So-
Predator films on their own?
I've seen the first Predator film
Okay.
a number of years ago,
Sure.
but that's it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that's the only film in that series, or of both series that I've seen.
And I didn't watch it because it was a Predator film. I watched it because I watched it with a friend of the show, Carl Eastman,
Oh.
and he's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger junkie, and so I watched it as an Arnold film, not as
Sure.
Predator.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
a good film, the two films that pair well together, Kindergarten Cop, followed by Predator.
yeah. Listen, I wanted to tell you about something real quick. We were chatting sort of off the mic last night about backlighting for TVs.
Oh, yes.
And yes, you should absolutely listen. You should absolutely backlight your TV. You should have
Okay.
a light behind your TV.
Okay.
When you're watching a movie, there should be no light in your room that's in front of the TV. That's going to wash out the image. It's going to affect your viewing experience. You should, however, to reduce strain on your eyes and to
Oh.
help make the image on the TV pop, you should have a light behind your TV.
Huh.
Not something super aggressive, not something super bright, just some sort of light there. Now, there's some really cool technology. I see some people use like the LED strips that you can get, the sticky, and they just like stick them to the back of their TV.
Yeah.
Totally an option. There is this cool technology out there where it's kind of like that. It's LED lighting that goes all the way around your TV,
Oh, cool.
but it's connected to the TV. And so the light that's being projected on the wall is an extension of whatever is happening on the screen. So like in the Lion King sequence
Oh.
with the sun coming up,
Yeah.
you would have, you know, the light being
Oh.
projected onto the wall behind the TV and around the TV would be variations of black, yellow, red, whatever, as going up the sky as it appears. So it's like color changing LEDs that are always matching what's on the screen
Right.
to give it like a deeper immersive feel. And I have no idea what the cost of that is, but it's really cool tech, and I wish I had it.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, slap a stamp on this thing and mail it somewhere.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Please check out our links below. Like, follow, subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's where we send out all our new information. It's where we send out our upcoming votes, where you tell us what films to review. If you're feeling so inclined, please check out our Patreon and our merchandise pages below. It's a way for you to help maintain and grow the show, and it's a way for us to give you some perks back for doing what you are to support us. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Yeah. Remember, if you're taking pictures of your neighbor while they're sunbathing naked in the backyard, don't take the film to Walmart, because they'll destroy it.
And maybe you shouldn't take pictures of your neighbors like that anyway, without them knowing.
You should always try to avoid doing that whenever possible.